Stormcasts, prepare for battle.
Warrior of the God King, although I have suddenly appeared before you, I mean you no harm. I am Kamax Til, Slan Star Master of the Seraphon. I have read the stars, and have determined that in this place and time, you must be made aware of the capabilities of our forces, your knowledge being the final point necessary to ensure victory in a future fight against the dark gods. Listen and remember, for a loss in your memory could be the key to our defeat. The Slan Star Masters, of which I am one, are ancient. Born of a world long since dead, we traveled into space between stars. As we traveled, we saturated our minds in the energies of the heavens, the energies of Azir. Through it, we have become one of the most powerful practitioners of magic in the realms. Our magic enhances the toughness and strength of our armies, as well as transporting them around the battlefield to the location they are needed most. When necessary, we can also summon more of our forces from our bastions in the stars, and alter the very heavens to change the course of a battle. The most ancient and powerful of our number is Lord Croak. Although his body has long since died, his will refuses to let a thing as minor as death stand in his way. Already a powerful mage, he can also summon comets from the heavens to destroy clusters of foes, and his impeccable foresight can have him eye the webs of fate to find the ideal time to strike a foe. If an enemy dares to get close, the ancient spirits that constantly surround him strike out, their spectral claws ripping apart his enemies. Despite our powers, we cannot fight against the forces of chaos alone. For that, we need the strength and scale of those born for war. The Sauruses are some of our most powerful and skilled warriors. Utterly loyal and lethal, they charge the enemy with an animal savagery, ravaging them with weapons forged from star metal. But don't mistake their bestial nature for simplicity. They have a keen intelligence and an understanding of war that few can rival, combined with a singular focus that can make them relentless in the face of an enemy. The biggest and strongest of the Sauruses are chosen to become part of a Slan's honor guard, linked to a particular Slan through celestial magic. They guard their charge with fanatical zeal, not allowing anyone, whether that be enemy armies or even careless Seraphon, to get near their Slan master without first facing their thick skull helms and celestite polearms. Of these Saurus guards, one of them, usually the oldest and most skilled, becomes an eternity warden. Having lived for several mortal generations in service of their Slan master, he leads the guard in their defense. The warden's very presence strengthening the guard around him and reinforcing the protection around their charge. A few of the Sauruses share a strange kinship with their more bestial cousins known as Cold Ones. Riding atop of them, Saurus Knights become the invaluable shock troops of the Seraphon, using their speed and power to smash shield walls, tear and rend enemy flanks, or run down fleeing foes. To do this, they use the furious bites of their Cold One mounts, as well as blazing celestite lances that can cause flesh-searing damage to an enemy. Walking proudly with his fellow warriors, the astrolith bearer plants the magical astrolith down on the battlefield. The ancient device capable of calling upon celestial energies that both enhance the spellcasting of Slan and Skinks, as well as saturating the other Seraphon warriors with beneficial power. Many a warrior had foolishly thought to strike down the astrolith bearer, only to be savaged by the Seraphon, his pride refusing to let any foe force him to lay down his astrolith. Possessed of a battle lust grown from its innumerable conflicts, the Scar veterans are ferocious warriors who are always where the battle is thickest. But don't mistake their battle lust for mindlessness. This hunger is kept in check by the iron discipline that all of our race share. Leading Saurus Knights atop of a Cold One, or fighting by themselves atop of a Carnosaur, they become true death to any foe who stands against them. Over time, however, their battle lust may cool, learning to think not only of victory for themselves, but victory for others as well. In that time, they may become Old Bloods. In the same way that a Slann is a master of magic, a Saurus Old Blood is a master of war. When the Slann Star Master points out an objective, it is the Old Blood who leads the charge, moving the forces under their command with genius tactics and strategy. However, unlike the command styles of other races, with its outspoken commands and signals, the Old Blood's command style is more instinctual. The forces under his command moving as one as they feel their commander's orders not through words or even thought, but through blood. Like a pack of wolves working together to take down a foe. When in combat, they also wield powerful sunbolt gauntlets that sears the flesh from bones and cause extra damage to chaotic enemies. Their Carnosaur mounts, on the other hand, tackle large prey and goes into a blood frenzy, its mighty roar freezing the enemy in fear. The most powerful of the Sauruses are the Sunbloods, the first of the Sauruses summoned by us in the Age of Myth. They have been fighting for so long they are bursting with the energy of Azir, the energy of the heavens. So skilled and powerful are they, that they can sense the weaknesses of any enemy, commanding surrounding Seraphon to strike where they can cause the most damage. Striking foes down with their war maces and protective Aeon shields, few can stand against their power. Unlike the Sauruses, the Kroxigars are much simpler creatures. But what they lack in intelligence, they more than make up for it in pure power. Their bestial instincts coming from a purity of purpose and hatred of chaos that few can match. These powerful beings tower over the largest Sauruses, and even the Saurus Sunbloods give them a healthy respect, recognizing a kindred spirit in the war against chaos. With their great clubs and hammers infused with celestial magic, they clear a path through enemy fortifications and opposing armies with equal amounts of ease, leaving an opening for the rest of the Seraphon to follow. Smaller than their Saurus and Kroxigar brethren, Skinks nonetheless make a vital part of our forces. Unlike their cousins, however, they don't smash into the enemy with strength, but instead use cunning, looking for any advantage in the terrain or weakness in the enemy to defeat them, easily choosing to retreat from a battle in order to strike again at a more advantageous position. When a large enough number of Skinks are together, they become what is known as Celestial Cohort, their numbers causing a resonance that enhances their offensive abilities. A few Skinks are born with a natural gift for camouflage, able to hide in plain sight as their bodies take on the appearance of their surroundings. When ready, they unleash envenomed darts from dart pipes that are deadly to any enemy. To a chaos demon, it is especially powerful, as the poison burns the unnatural creature's very flesh. Used as hidden scouts, they lurk in the shadows where our light can't reach, and strike when the enemy least expects. Although many of the Skinks are of the more martial variety, there are many who share our affinity with the magic of the heavens, using it to further enhance our forces when we Slann are busy with weightier concerns. Clad in a cloak of colorful feathers, woven from star eagles, the Skink priests can use their abilities to enhance their fellow Seraphon using celestial rites, the subtle magic strengthening them. When forced, he can lash out with his starstone staff or throw a star bolt at an enemy, before using his cloak to fly away from danger. The Skink Star Priests are similar to the wizards of your collegiate arcane, able to wield magic spells that can shield his allies or scorch his foes. With his serpent staff, he can envenom the claws and fangs of his fellow Seraphon, ensuring even a glancing blow can be deadly. Finally, they can call upon the starlight of a distant star, using it to surround a fellow Seraphon warrior, and making it harder for enemies to strike him down. Riding into battle on blind beasts known as Troglodons, the Skink Oracles use their abilities not to wield magic, but remove it, their vision allowing them to see the ebb and flow of enemy energies, and use powerful divining rods to unravel it before it can affect the Seraphon. When forced into combat, its bestial companion makes short work of any foe. Although effectively blind, its other senses more than make up for it. easily able to locate foes and use its noxious spittle and venomous bite to devastating effect. Of all the skink magic users, the skink starseers are our most powerful. You can identify them by the floating war thrones they have crafted from their own hands. The celestite and starstone thrones covered in celestial symbols enhancing their already impressive abilities. Of all the Seraphon, they are the closest to understanding our grand plan. Unlike us, however, they are much more focused on the present, able to scribe the immediate future without being distracted by the fates of entire civilizations. Using this foreknowledge to understand the plans of the enemy and counteract them. Furthermore, they can manipulate fate itself, ensuring the warriors around them are in the right place at the right time to dodge a deadly blow or unleash a critical strike, while also ensuring enemies just miss their intended targets or take an unfortunate accident. A few skinks learn they have an affinity for the beast of the celestial jungles. Using their goad spears, they lead their bestial charges into war, capable of making the creatures they command even more ferocious through the right application of pain and training. The salamander is a destructive beast that spews a volatile liquid that bursts into flame in midair, clinging to enemies and burning them in agony. When further goaded by its skink handlers, its stream can reach further, surprising an enemy who had foolishly thought it had the beast's measure. The Razordons are capable of throwing volleys of spikes at their foes, the deadly ordnance showering the enemy in so many waves of spines that inevitably, a few land in vulnerable points such as joints or eyes. Its real strength, however, is when it gets close, its spikes gaining more potency, and its defensive instincts allowing it a speed few can match. Its abilities are further enhanced when goaded by the skink handlers, driving it into a ferocious frenzy. Riding on pterodons, the skinks on these flying beasts are some of the fastest of our forces, usually rushed ahead of the main army to scout out and attack the enemy. When they go near, the pterodons carry heavy meteoric rock that they can throw at enemies. Carved with destructive sigils, it bursts into a huge cloud of destructive energies as soon as it contacts the ground. Further, the skinks wield bolas made of sun leeches, creatures harvested from comets and filled with celestial energy. When they wrap around a foe, they explode, turning the unfortunate victim into a pillar of fire. Unlike the pterodons, which rely on speed, the Ripperdactyls rely on power and aggression, swooping down on the enemy and ripping them apart with a fury born of voracious appetite. So powerful is their hunger that even their skink riders have difficulty controlling them. The only truly effective way to control Ripperdactyls is for the skink rider to summon blot toads, small creatures that hop across the battlefield and exude a rather potent scent, a scent that both attracts and drives the Ripperdactyls into a frenzy. Many a warrior has found themselves confused by a wandering blot toad, only to be surprised by a Ripperdactyl diving upon them. A massive beast clad in almost impervious plate armor, the Bastillodon shrug off the worst anyone can throw at it, while crushing enemies with its club-like tail. Atop its back is a solar engine that unleashes searing beams of starlight that burns most enemies, but is especially deadly to demons. On occasion, a Bastillodon will also carry an arc of Sotek, the device unleashing a constant stream of venomous snakes that crawl into vulnerable points in an enemy's armor and strikes, burning the foe from the inside with venom made from the flames of Azir. Stubborn beasts of immense size and power, the Stegodons charge their way into the enemy in an unstoppable rush of massive horns and crushing stomps. So powerful is this image that nearby Seraphon are inspired. The stubborn refusal of the Stegodon to back away from a fight, an example of their own fight against the dark powers. Atop of its back is a howdah crewed by skinks, wielding powerful sky-screak bows and sunfire throwers to destroy enemies both near and far, making the Stegodon a deadly threat at any range. On occasion, when the need is great, the Stegodon will carry an engine of the gods into battle, an unpredictable but extremely powerful arcane device. Its magic can change the course of any battle. Magic that can do anything from healing nearby Seraphon to slowing down time for the Seraphon's enemies. It is, however, a tad bit more random than most Slan are comfortable with. Many a Stegodon have found themselves floundering in pain as the energies of the engine rack its body instead of the enemies. Soldier of the God King, one day soon you will fight with us in battle, and you must use this knowledge to your advantage. For if you do not, then it will be a step back in the great war of old. We will meet again when the stars are right and battle calls us both to where we need to be.
Remember what you say, or all will be for naught. No pressure then. Hey guys, this is Arvandus, and I hope you enjoyed this video about the Seraphon's forces. If you like it, please like, subscribe, and comment. And if you really like it, please consider giving to my Patreon. The extra money gives me the time I need to work on these stories I love. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.